My stepmom made my 10-year-old clean the entire house alone while her kids played. So I moved out that night and now she's facing charges. Help us keep the stories alive. Subscribe today. And please share your location in the comments. It makes our audience feel like one big family. I was in the middle of closing a deal at the real estate office when my phone buzzed. Destiny. My 10-year-old daughter never called during school hours. My stomach dropped before I even answered. Mama. Her voice cracked, barely a whisper. Can you come get me? Baby, what's wrong? Are you sick? I stood up, grabbing my keys, already heading toward the door. My colleague Mateo shot me a concerned look. I'm at home. Miss Beverly made me stay back from school. She said someone needs to deep clean before her church friends come over tonight. Destiny's breathing was shaky. I could hear she'd been crying. My blood ran cold. Beverly. My father's wife of 2 years. The woman who'd smiled in my face at their wedding while I'd tried to be supportive after Mama died. What do you mean she made you stay home? I was practically running to my car now, foam pressed so hard against my ear it hurt. She wrote a note to my teacher. Said I had a family emergency. But Daddy already left for his shift and she just gave me this huge list. Jaden and Michaela are watching TV and eating snacks. And I've been scrubbing the kitchen floor for 2 hours on my hands and knees. Her voice broke completely. My hands hurt, Mama. The bleach is burning them. I was already breaking every speed limit on Martin Luther King Boulevard. I'm coming right now, baby. Don't touch another thing. You hear me? Not another thing. She said if I don't finish, I can't eat dinner. That's when I knew. Beverly had just made the biggest mistake of her life. 23 minutes. That's how long it took me to get from downtown Atlanta to my father's house in Cascade Heights. Every minute felt like an hour. I'd called 4 times. Beverly didn't answer. Destiny whispered she wasn't allowed to answer the door or phone. I still had my key. Dad had insisted I keep it when he remarried. You're always welcome here, Kira. This is still your home too. The door swung open to a scene that made my vision blur with rage. My baby girl, 70 pounds soaking wet, was dragging a vacuum twice her size across the living room. Her school uniform was soaked with sweat and dirty water. Her small hands were red and cracked, white residue from harsh chemicals coating her brown skin. On the couch, Beverly's twins, Jaden and Michaela, also 10 years old, were sprawled out playing video games. Empty chip bags and juice boxes littered the coffee table Destiny had clearly already cleaned. It had new water rings on it. Mama. Destiny dropped the vacuum and ran to me, wrapping her thin arms around my waist. Beverly appeared from the kitchen looking annoyed rather than surprised. She wore a full face of makeup, her hair freshly done, outfit pristine. Kira. What are you doing here? What am I? I couldn't even form words at first. Why is my daughter home from school cleaning your house while your kids sit on their asses doing nothing? Watch your language. Beverly crossed her arms. Destiny needs to learn responsibility. My children already know how to maintain a home. She's fallen behind. She's 10. And she doesn't live here. She's only here because you offered to watch her on my custody days when I have client meetings. Well, if she's going to be here, she needs to contribute. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone. Destiny, baby, show me your hands. He held them up and I started recording. The skin was cracked and peeling, some areas raw and bleeding. How long did Miss Beverly have you cleaning? Since 8:30 this morning. Destiny's voice was small. Right after Daddy left for work. I panned the camera to the twins on the couch. And what have Jaden and Michaela been doing? Playing games. Miss Beverly made them breakfast and lunch. She said I could eat after I finished my list. Show me the list. Destiny retrieved a piece of paper from the kitchen. I read it out loud for the recording. Kitchen. Deep clean floors, cabinets, counters, appliances. Living room. Vacuum, dust everything, windows. Bathrooms. All 3 scrub toilets, tubs, floors, mirrors. Laundry. Wash, dry, fold everyone's clothes. Bedrooms. Change all sheets, organize closets. That's a whole day's work. Multiple adults' work, I said into the camera. Then I focused on Beverly. This is child labor. You kept her from school with a forged note to be your personal maid. Beverly's eyes narrowed. I'm her grandmother. I can discipline her how I see fit. Step-grandmother. And no, you absolutely cannot. I turned to Destiny. Get your backpack. We're leaving. Kira, don't be dramatic. Dramatic? My child has chemical burns. He missed school. She hasn't eaten in over 8 hours. My voice was rising and I didn't care. You better pray I don't call the police right now. Beverly's face paled slightly, but she recovered quickly. Your father will hear about this. Good. He needs to know who he married. Dad called before we even made it back to my apartment in Buckhead. Kira, Beverly said you stormed in screaming and took Destiny. What's going on? I was driving with one hand, the other holding Destiny's damaged ones gently. Pull up your messages. I'm sending you a video. Silence as he watched. Then, baby girl, this has to be some misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Dad, look at your granddaughter's hands. Beverly kept her home from school. Illegally, I might add, to scrub your entire house while her own kids did nothing. Beverly said Destiny volunteered to help. That she wanted to earn some extra allowance money. Dad. I had to pull over because my hands were shaking too badly. Dad, stop. Please stop defending this woman and look at what she did to your granddaughter. Destiny called me crying. He was scared. Her hands are burned from bleach. She hasn't eaten since last night. More silence. Then quieter. Beverly's got those church ladies coming tonight. She's been stressed about the house being perfect. Maybe she just asked for a little help and Destiny misunderstood. That's when I realized. My father, the man who'd raised me to never accept disrespect, who'd taught me to stand up for myself, had been completely manipulated. When's the last time you really looked at what's happening in your own house, Dad? What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm done bringing Destiny over there. Figure out your marriage. But my daughter won't be Beverly's servant. I hung up before he could respond. Destiny was crying again in the passenger seat. Is Granddad mad at me? No, baby. Never. He's just confused right now. But I knew the truth. This was just beginning. At Piedmont Hospital's emergency room, Dr. Hightower examined Destiny's hands with a deepening frown. These are second-degree chemical burns. How long was she exposed? At least 6 hours, according to her. Without gloves. He looked at Destiny with kind eyes. Sweetheart, were you using cleaning products meant for adults? She nodded. Miss Beverly gave me the industrial stuff from under the sink. The bottles with all the warning labels. She said the regular cleaners weren't strong enough for deep cleaning. Dr. Hightower's jaw tightened. He was a father of 3 himself. I'd seen photos in the examination room. Miss Thompson, I'm required by law to document this. These injuries, combined with the circumstances you've described, constitute neglect and child endangerment. I have to file a report with DFCS. Do it, I said firmly. File whatever you need to file. Destiny got prescription antibiotic cream and pain medication. The doctor wrapped her hands in gauze after applying the treatment. No school for the rest of the week. These need to heal. Absolutely no cleaning products, no getting them wet unnecessarily. In the car, Destiny was quiet. Finally, am I in trouble? What? Baby, no. Why would you think that? Miss Beverly said if I told you I'd be the reason Granddad got in trouble. That families keep secrets and good girls don't cause problems. My heart shattered and then immediately filled with white-hot rage. Destiny Marie Thompson, look at me. I waited until her eyes met mine. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. Adults who tell children to keep secrets about being hurt are the ones who are wrong. Boys. Do you understand? She nodded, but I could see the confusion still there. Beverly had planted seeds of guilt in my baby's mind. That woman had no idea what was coming. That night, after Destiny finally fell asleep, I sat in my living room with my laptop and made a decision. My father wouldn't listen. Beverly was a master manipulator. But I knew exactly who would care. I opened Facebook and started typing in the Cascade Heights community group. The same group where Beverly constantly posted her perfect family photos and humble brags about her blended family journey. The post was simple. Just facts, accompanied by the video I'd taken and photos of Destiny's bandaged hands from the hospital. Today I picked up my 10-year-old daughter from my father's house where his wife Beverly had kept her home from school, forged absence note, to deep clean their entire 3,200 square foot house alone. For 6+ hours. No food. No breaks. While Beverly's own children, same age as mine, played video games and ate snacks. My daughter now has second-degree chemical burns on both hands from industrial cleaning products. We just left Piedmont Yard. DFCS report has been filed. This is what child abuse looks like, and it happened right here in our neighborhood. If Beverly Morris Thompson has your children in her care, please reconsider. I hit post before I could overthink it. Within 10 minutes my phone exploded. Comments started flooding in. Neighbors I'd known my whole life expressing shock and support. But then other comments appeared. Ones I wasn't expecting. My daughter did a playdate there last month and came home saying Mrs. Beverly made her clean the kitchen before she could have a snack. I thought she was exaggerating. Beverly volunteered for the church nursery but got removed after parents complained about her being too harsh with the kids. I'm a teacher at Destiny's school. The absence note looked suspicious, but we're trained to accept parent notes unless there's a pattern. The pattern was emerging. And it was worse than I'd thought. By morning the post had over 800 reactions and 300 comments. My phone was ringing off the hook, but I ignored most calls. Except when I saw my father's number at 6:47 a.m. Kira Michelle Thompson, what have you done? His voice was strained, angry in a way I hadn't heard since I was 16 and wrecked his car. I told the truth, Dad. That's what I did. You've humiliated Beverly. Humiliated our family. Her phone is blowing up. People are calling her horrible things. Someone egged our house last night. Good. I was making Destiny breakfast, one-handed since she couldn't use her hands yet. Maybe public shame will accomplish what private conversations couldn't. You had no right to air our private business. Private? Dad, she abused your granddaughter. She forged legal documents. She caused physical harm. That's not private family business, that's criminal. Beverly's voice shrieked in the background. Let me talk to her. Let me talk to that ungrateful. I heard struggling, then Beverly was on the phone. You vindictive little bitch. I welcomed you into my home, treated you like my own. No, Beverly, you tolerated me because I came with my father. There's a difference. And you sure as hell didn't treat my daughter like your own. You treated her like unpaid help. She's spoiled. Titled. Someone needed to teach her work ethic. She's a child. Your step-grandchild. Not your employee. I was trying to keep my voice down so Destiny wouldn't wake up, but it was hard. And now you're facing a DFCS investigation, possible criminal charges, and the entire neighborhood knows exactly who you are. You'll regret this. I promise you'll. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but I felt powerful. For the first time in 2 years of watching Beverly gradually isolate my father and manipulate situations, I'd fought back. And I wasn't done. Monday morning, I sat across from Simone Patterson, a family law attorney my colleague had recommended. She'd reviewed everything. The video, hospital records, photos, the Facebook post with its revelations from other parents, and the DFCS report number. "You have a strong case," Simone said, shuffling papers. "Child endangerment, negligent supervision, possible forgery charges for the school note. The chemical burns alone are serious. But I need to ask, what's your goal here? Prosecution? A restraining order? Custody modification?" "All of it," I said firmly. "I want full custody with zero unsupervised visitation with Beverly. I want my father to understand this is serious. And yes, if Beverly can be prosecuted, I want that too." Simone nodded, making notes. "Your father has grandparents' rights in Georgia. He could fight for visitation. He can visit Destiny anywhere Beverly isn't. My apartment, public places, I don't care. But that woman will never be alone with my child again." "Understood. I'm also recommending we document every interaction going forward. Save every text, every voicemail, every email. Beverly sounds like someone who'll escalate." She wasn't wrong. My phone buzzed. Another message from an unknown number. "You destroyed my reputation. My marriage. My life. You'll pay for this." I showed Simone. She photographed it with her phone. "Save that. File a police report about the threats. Start a paper trail." "This is really happening," I said, more to myself than her. "Yes. And Kira? You did the right thing. A lot of parents would have let it slide to keep the peace. You protected your daughter. That's what matters." I left her office feeling validated but exhausted. This was just the beginning of what would become the hardest months of my life. The DFCS investigator, Mrs. Joyner, arrived at my apartment on Thursday. He was professional, thorough, and kind. She interviewed Destiny separately, examined her healing hands, reviewed the medical records, and asked me detailed questions about the incident and our family dynamics. "Miss Thompson, I need you to understand that our investigation will involve interviewing your father and his wife as well. They'll likely deny or minimize what happened." "I expected that," I said. "Beverly's already calling me a liar on social media. She's claiming Destiny asked to help and that I'm weaponizing this because I never accepted her marriage to my father." Mrs. Joyner's expression didn't change, but she made a note. "And your relationship with Mrs. Beverly Morris Thompson prior to this incident?" "Cordial but distant. I tried to be respectful for my father's sake. He was always performative, very concerned with appearances. But I never suspected she'd do something like this." "Had you noticed any previous concerning behavior toward your daughter?" Thought back. Small things. Comments about Destiny being too soft, or not knowing how good she has it. Beverly's big on tough love. But nothing that seemed dangerous. "If I had known." "You couldn't have known," Mrs. Joyner said gently. "That's why we're here. To investigate and ensure it doesn't happen again." 2 days later, Mrs. Joyner called with an update. "I've completed the home visit at your father's residence. I observed several concerning things. Industrial-strength cleaning supplies stored under the kitchen sink, accessible to children. When I asked Mrs. Morris Thompson about the incident, she became defensive and hostile. She insisted Destiny had volunteered and that you were overreacting. Your father seemed uncomfortable and contradicted some of her statements. What happens now? I'm recommending supervised visitation only between Destiny and anyone at that residence until further notice. My full report will be submitted within 10 days. Small victory. but I'd take it. Sunday afternoon my doorbell rang. Through the peephole I saw 3 well-dressed black women, probably in their 60s and 70s. I recognized one, Sister Pauline from Greater Faith Missionary Baptist, where my parents had attended for decades. I opened the door cautiously. Sister Pauline? Kira, baby. She pulled me into a hug that smelled like coconut oil and peppermint. We need to talk to you about Beverly. I let them in. Sister Pauline, Sister Ruth, and Sister Diane settled on my couch while I made tea. They'd been at Greater Faith longer than I'd been alive. They'd know my mother. These were women whose opinions carried weight. We saw your post, Sister Ruth said carefully. And we've been praying on how to approach this. My defenses went up. If you're here to ask me to take it down or forgive and forget. Child, no. Sister Diane cut me off. We're here to tell you we believe you. And we're sorry we didn't see it sooner. I sat down, stunned. Sister Pauline continued. Beverly joined our church right before she married your daddy. She seemed perfect. Always volunteering, always smiling, always talking about family and faith. But she exchanged glances with the other women. Some of us noticed things. How she talked about her stepchildren from her first marriage. How controlling she was with the youth ministry until Pastor asked her to step back. Why didn't anyone say anything? Because we're old and we see a lot of second marriages fail, Sister Ruth said honestly. We wanted to give her grace. We wanted to believe your daddy had found happiness again after losing your sweet mama. But grace doesn't mean ignoring harm. Especially harm to a child. We spoke to your father yesterday, Sister Diane added. Told him what we thought about this whole situation. He's not hearing it, Kira. That woman has him completely turned around. I felt tears starting. I don't know how to reach him. You may not be able to, Sister Pauline said sadly. Not right now. But you keep protecting that baby. You hear me? Some people have to hit rock bottom before they see the truth. Your job is making sure destiny doesn't go down with him. They prayed over me before they left. I felt less alone than I had in weeks. The emergency custody hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks after the incident. Beverly had hired a lawyer, some slick attorney named Mitchell Crane who specialized in defending falsely accused parents. He'd already sent us a cease and desist letter about the Facebook post and was threatening a defamation lawsuit. Simone wasn't impressed. Let him try. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. Everything you posted is documented fact. The courtroom was cold. Dad sat behind Beverly's table looking older than I'd ever seen him. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Beverly wore a cream-colored suit and pearls, playing the role of the wronged stepmother. Judge Marianne Foster reviewed the evidence silently. The hospital records. The photos. The video. Mrs. Joyner's DFCS report, which was damning. Beverly had failed the home inspection on multiple safety violations. Mitchell Crane stood up. Your Honor, this is a case of a bitter daughter weaponizing a simple misunderstanding. My client asked her step-granddaughter to help tidy up, as children in households do, and the mother has blown it completely out of proportion. Counselor, Judge Foster interrupted, I'm looking at photos of second-degree chemical burns on a 10-year-old's hands. I'm reading a doctor's report that describes 6+ hours of exposure to industrial cleaning chemicals. I'm seeing a DFCS report that documents unsafe storage of hazardous materials and concerning statements from the accused. This isn't helping tidy up. The child was supervised. No, she wasn't. Mrs. Morris Thompson was in a different part of the house getting ready for guests while a 10-year-old handled dangerous chemicals. That's the definition of neglect. I watched Beverly's lawyer deflate slightly. Judge Foster looked at me. Miss Thompson, what are you requesting? Full custody. No unsupervised visitation with Beverly Morris Thompson. My father can have supervised visits with Destiny, but not at his home while he's married to that woman. Granted. This court orders. Your Honor. Beverly jumped up. This is ridiculous. I've raised 4 children. I know how to discipline. Sit down. Judge Foster's voice could have cut glass. Mrs. Morris Thompson, you're fortunate you're not facing criminal charges at this moment. That may still come. For now, you are prohibited from any contact with the minor child Destiny Thompson. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Do you understand? Beverly's face turned purple with rage, but she sat down. We'd won. 3 weeks after the hearing, Dad called. Not yelling this time. Broken. Kira, can we talk? Please. We met at Busy Bee Cafe, Neutral Territory. Dad looked like he'd aged 5 years. His eyes were red-rimmed, his usually neat appearance rumpled. I filed for divorce, he said before I could even sit down. I should have done it 3 weeks ago. 3 months ago. The day you showed me that video. I didn't know what to say. Dad. Let me finish. His voice cracked. After the court hearing, I went home and really looked at my house. Really looked. Beverly had a whole section of the garage set up like a military boot camp. Cleaning supplies organized by difficulty level. A laminated chore chart with Destiny's name on it. Tasks that would take hours. I found her planner, Kira. She'd been planning to make Destiny's visits more productive for months. My stomach turned. How did you not know? Because I worked nights. Because Beverly controlled what I saw. Because I wanted so badly for this marriage to work that I ignored every red flag. He was crying now, this strong man who'd raised me alone after Mama died. I failed you. I failed Destiny. I chose a woman I barely knew over my own family. Why? Why her dad? You could have stayed single. You could have. I was lonely. Simple. Devastating. After your mama died, that house felt like a tomb. Beverly filled it with noise and life. She made me feel less alone. But I see now she was never really there for me. She wanted a provider. A house. Respectability. And I was convenient. What made you finally see it? Her lawyer bills. She spent $14,000 trying to prove she did nothing wrong instead of just apologizing to you. To Destiny. She hired a PR firm to rebuild her image. Not once did she express actual remorse. He looked at me finally. And I kept thinking, your mama would be ashamed of me. Ashamed I let someone hurt her grandbaby. Mama would want you to fix it. That's what you're doing now. Can you forgive me? Eventually. But Dad, Destiny needs time. He needs to heal. She needs to trust that adults will protect her. He nodded, wiping his eyes. Whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. It was a start. The Georgia Department of Family and Children's Services ultimately filed charges. Beverly faced 2 counts of child endangerment, 1 count of reckless conduct, and 1 count of forgery related to the school absence note. Her lawyer negotiated a plea deal. 2 years probation, mandatory parenting classes, community service, and a permanent record. It wasn't prison, but it was justice. Dad's divorce finalized in March. He moved into a smaller house in College Park, close to us. Destiny visits him now, supervised at first, then gradually unsupervised as trust rebuilt. They're in family therapy together. It's slow, but it's healing. The Facebook post never came down. It's a record. A warning. Several parents reached out privately to share their own stories of Beverly's behavior. One even joined our civil suit. She's suing Beverly for emotional distress after her daughter developed anxiety from a similar incident. Destiny's hands healed, though she has small scars. She's in therapy too, learning that she deserves to be treated with kindness, that adults should protect children, not exploit them. Her grades recovered. She smiles more now. As for me, I learned something important. Keeping the peace isn't worth sacrificing your child's safety. Family loyalty doesn't mean accepting abuse. Speaking up, even when it's hard, even when it costs you relationships, is sometimes the most loving thing you can do. Beverly tried to friend me on Facebook last week with a long message about forgiveness and moving forward. I blocked her immediately. Some bridges don't need rebuilding. Some people don't deserve access to your life. I'm teaching Destiny that boundaries aren't mean, they're necessary. That protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. That her voice matters, her pain matters, and no one gets to diminish that for their convenience. Last Sunday, Destiny asked if she could write about what happened for a school project on courage. I said yes. She titled it, "The Day My Mom Became My Hero." I'm framing that essay. Because she's wrong, she's the hero. She survived. She spoke up. She trusted me to protect her. And I always will.